All right, let's get straight to it. We're not just going to study for the EDMA7412 exam today. We're going to build a strategic battle plan. We've gone through years of past papers, and we've put together this super focused, tactical guide that's all about one thing: getting you the absolute best mark possible. So, here's the game plan. First, we're going to crack the exam's code. Then we'll nail the key definitions for some easy marks. After that, it's all about applying leadership styles and decoding those tricky acronyms. We'll even walk through a real past paper question together, step by step. And to finish it all off, you'll get the ultimate exam checklist. Okay, but what if you knew exactly what the examiners are looking for? Seriously, what if you knew before you even walked into that room which topics were almost guaranteed to show up and exactly how they'd be asked? Well, guess what? That's precisely what we're about to uncover. All right, section 1. Here's where we pull back the curtain. Look, we've done the heavy lifting for you. We've gone through every single exam paper from 2019 all the way to 2024, and we found the patterns, the recurring themes, the exact styles of questions they love to ask. This isn't some wild guess. It's all based on data. And what we found, well, it reveals a super clear pattern. Over and over again, 3 core areas just dominate the exam. We're talking about applying leadership styles, telling the difference between leadership and management, and defining accountability versus quality assurance. So here's the takeaway. Mastering these topics that show up all the time, that's the smartest, most efficient way to prepare, period. Okay, so building on that, let's jump into section 2. We're going to tackle those compare and contrast or differentiate between X and Y questions. You know the ones. They pop up constantly, and honestly, they're your ticket to grabbing some easy marks right at the start of the exam. First up, the absolute classic, leadership versus management. The easiest way to think about it is like this. Leadership is all about the why. It's setting the destination, creating that inspiring vision. Management, on the other hand, is the how. It's drawing the map, organizing the resources, actually driving the car to get there. And get this exact question shows up in the 2023, 2022, and 2021 papers. I mean, come on, that's a massive clue from the examiners. So what does that actually look like in a real school setting? Well, think about a principal who doesn't just manage the timetable, but who actually inspires a shared vision for incredible teaching. It's all about building a culture of trust, a place where teachers feel safe to innovate and grow. These are the kind of practical examples the examiners want to see, not just use spitting back a textbook definition. And here's another pair that just keeps showing up. We saw it in the 2024, 2022, and 2021 exams. Accountability versus quality assurance. The simplest way to break it down is accountability is the after. It's answering for your results. Quality assurance is the before and during. It's all the systems you put in place, like reviews and checks, to make sure the quality is there from the start. So one's about reporting on the outcome, the other's about building the process. Okay, now we are getting to the absolute heart of the exam. This is where the big marks are hiding. We're talking up to 30 marks for a single question. And here's the key. It is not enough to just define a leadership style. You have to apply it. You have to use it to solve a real problem from a case study. This is where you prove you actually get it. So let's start with a style you'll see a lot in these exam scenarios: autocratic leadership. You know this one. It's the top-down, my way or the highway kind of approach. The leader makes every single decision, and the team's job is just to follow orders. And yep, we see a perfect textbook example of this in the 2024 papers case study. Now, look, an autocratic style isn't always bad. In a crisis, when you need someone to make a fast, decisive call, it can work. But long-term, it can be an absolute disaster for morale. And this is exactly what's happening with Mr. Reddy in that 2024 paper. The case study flat out says his style is why his teachers are demotivated and unhappy. It completely crushes creativity and any chance for the team to work together. So, what's the fix? Well, the solution they're usually looking for is the total opposite: collaborative or democratic leadership. This is where the leader actually brings the staff into the loop. They're involved in making decisions, which creates this amazing sense of shared ownership. You're using the brain power of the whole team. And 9 times out of 10, this is the style you'll suggest to clean up the mess an autocratic leader has made. And this is so important. Application is everything. Don't just define the style. You have to connect the dots for the examiner. You need to write something like, because the teachers in the case study are feeling demotivated, A collaborative style would directly address this by giving them a voice and, see, you're explicitly linking the solution to the problem. That shows you're actually problem solving, not just memorizing. All right, let's talk about all those acronyms. IQMS, QMS, WSE. They pop up in the exam papers and can look kind of intimidating. But trust me, once you break them down, what they're for is actually pretty straightforward. Let's start with IQMS, the Integrated Quality Management System. We see this in the 2019 and 2023 papers. At its core, it's just a structured process for helping teachers get better. You start by figuring out where they are, you measure their performance, you give them the support they need to develop, and then you check in to see how it's going. It's really just a cycle of continuous improvement. Now, whole school evaluation, or WSC, that's a bit different. Think of this like an external team coming in to give the whole school a health check. And this is important for the exam because, as we see in the 2024 and 2022 papers, that WSE report is often the thing that kicks off the whole case study. It's basically a list of the problems the principal has to fix. Okay, it's time to put all these pieces together. We are now going to take a real high-stakes exam question and build a perfect A+ answer step by step. This is where theory hits the road and becomes practice. Okay, let's look at this big 30-mark question from the 2022 paper. The first thing you always do is hunt for the key words. See them? Identify, critically discuss, and justify. The examiner is literally giving you a recipe for a perfect answer. You have to name the styles, discuss them, the good and the bad in this specific situation, and then prove why your choices are the right ones to solve the problems.
So, how do you structure your essay to get all those marks? It's a simple formula. 1, a quick introduction where you state the 2 leadership styles you've chosen. 2, a solid paragraph for your first style. Define it, apply it to the case study, and justify it. 3, do the exact same thing for your second style. And 4, a short and sweet conclusion that just summarizes why your choices work. That's it. That structure guarantees you hit every single point the question asks for.
And please remember this. Critically discuss does not just mean explain. It's not a fancy synonym. It means you've got to show the nuance. Why is this particular style the best choice for this specific scenario? What could go wrong? And how would a smart principal handle those potential problems? That right there, that's the higher level thinking that gets you the top marks. All right, we're in the home stretch now. To wrap everything up, let's boil it all down into one final super clear checklist. This is your game plan for those last few hours of studying and for the moment you walk into that exam room. Here it is, your exam checklist. Number 1, master leadership versus management. Number 2, know the difference between accountability and quality assurance. Number 3, and this one is non-negotiable, be ready to apply at least 2 leadership styles to a case study. 4, understand what QMS and WSE are for. And finally, number 5, always plan your essays. You nail these 5 things and you are going to be in an absolutely fantastic position. So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you've seen the patterns, now that you know what the examiners really care about, how are you going to change your study plan? How are you going to use this to study smarter, not just harder, so you can walk into that exam feeling totally prepared and confident? We've cracked the code for you. Now it's your turn to go use it.